With thousands of business owners that I've worked with to start their own business and succeed, and all the businesses that I've started and succeeded with, we've determined that the financial numbers that you absolutely must pay attention to come down to 3 simple equations. These are essential for any business owner to understand and implement in their businesses. We're going to check those out today. The first equation we want to look at is what we call the cash flow. That means your total cash flow that you're receiving from the business. Now, that's not necessarily the total revenue. We want to look at what's coming in the bottom line. And by cash flow, I don't necessarily mean net profit. I mean the cash that's coming into that business. And sometimes that could include the owner's salary. But cash flow to total investment. That's number one. I started a business a number of years ago with about $500 off my kitchen table. It was a consulting business, and I knew it would work because I could envision it. I had already gone through a lot of the pain of failure, and I had seen in my mind how this one could work, and so I started it with less than $500, and it produced $8 million per year in sales after about 4 years. The net on that was about $800,000. So a $500, $800,000 divided by $500 startup cost, that's a pretty darn good return on investment. But it's only because I had put the pain and the time and the effort, the blood, sweat, and tears, if you will, to get to that point. There's ways to shortcut that, of course. Now, if you find an investment like we propose in the world of franchising or other types of systematic businesses that help you produce a proven result, let's say that it costs $200,000 for a total startup. And over a period of the next few months, you're able to produce a cash flow of $100,000. And that way, you have received, in this case, $200,000 investment. Divide that by $100,000 by that, and that's a 50% return cash on your total investment. So that's one way to look at it. But it gets better than that. Number 2 is what we call cash flow on cash invested. So in many cases, you can leverage that cash flow. You can invest funds that only comes out of a certain piece out of your pocket to allow you to get that high return. For example, in this same example over here, let's say that out of the $200,000 investment, you're able to finance another $100,000 and only have to put $100,000 into it. And it still produces that same $100,000 cash. So we divide that 100,000 by 100,000. What's our return now? 100% return on your cash. That's pretty darn good. Now, there's a lot of businesses that we can consider that will get to that point. Now, in a franchise business, although we can't guarantee any type of success in any business, that's something you'll need to take the step-by-step process through with your advisor to see how this would work for you. But typically in a franchise business, you have a more secure way. You can get to this point where you can get a better return on your cash because you can typically get financing, and you're putting the lower amount down because it's already established. There's a proven system, there's support, there's mentors that are going to be there to help you and that care about you because they make money when you make money. So you better believe they're going to be in charge and accountable and want to see you make as much money and as good a return on your investment as you can because you have that help and support. So let's talk about the third one. This, for me, is the most important ratio of all. And that has to do with our time and our resources. If we talk about the most important resource that we have, it's our time. Once it's gone, it's gone. We can make more money. So we call this the cash flow to time ratio. So that's really what getting in business is all about. So if you end up acquiring a business where you got to work 80 hours a week to make your $100,000 in cash flow a year, what's that worth to you? It may not be worth it because now you're missing out on family activities and maybe it's degrading your health a little bit. And there's other things that are starting to slip because you're spending so much time and effort. So what we suggest is look for businesses that are not jobs. You can go to work for a job and trade your time for money anytime. Anybody can do that and make $50 an hour, which is equivalent to about $100,000 a year, but you got to work 40 hours a week to make that $100,000 a year at $50 an hour. Do you want to trade time for money? Or do you want to leverage that? There's ways to leverage this cash to time investment by investing in businesses that are investments, not jobs. And these are typically where we look at franchises or other proven type businesses that have a proven track record, and you're able to invest with those and operate them semi-absentee owned. So this is the way it works. So normally if you're working 40 hours a week, or 80 hours a week on your normal job to keep things moving forward to generate that $100,000 a year. Or what happens if you can invest in a franchise or another business that's systematized that allows you to leverage that time and spend 4 hours a week in that semi-absentee owned business, just overseeing or managing the manager that's already set up for you. There's the shortcut. That's the smart way. So now if you're working 4 hours a week and you're generating that same $100,000 a year, now you're looking at getting, instead of $50 an hour on your time with a job for 40 hours a week, it's more like $500 an hour. You can do the math. The math that I've done shows that $500 an hour to generate $100,000 a year with 4 hours a week is pretty darn good return on your investment. But it can get better. The smart ones don't stop there. They don't stop at just looking at one business. They start acquiring more and more and more because they have the time to do it. And a lot of times they can get financing that's even better. And sometimes it can be closer to 100% financing. If the business is doing well, then that ratio just goes up to infinity, because you're using other people's money even more efficiently when you're getting that second, third, fourth, and fifth locations. But even if you doubled this and you had your second location, and now you're up to $200,000 per year, and you're able to still keep that 4 hours per week coming in, now you're at $1,000 per hour. So my suggestion for you, and it would be a goal, if you're not generating at least $1,000 an hour for your time, it's probably not the right path. There are paths that you can take to make $1,000, $5,000, $10,000 and up for your time. So why put your time and effort in something that's $50 an hour or even working for someone else when you can leverage that time at a much higher level and produce greater results and have more freedom and build not only the cash flow, we haven't even talked about that ratio yet, but the other ratio is to look at what your equity looks like at the end so that you can exit out. With these systematized businesses like this, it allows you to get a much higher success rate, usually 90% plus or more, and have that exit strategy at the end of when you're wanting to sell your business. And that's what you really build the businesses for, is to be able to exit out. So you have that cash flow as well as the equity. So I hope this has been helpful for you today. And there's ways to do this. And now we're not going to go into a whole long dissertation on which is the best system or path to take to get that. But you know what? We have advisors and people that help every step of the way. I went through that process myself. I had to learn it. I had to go from generating my hourly job to working with advisors and mentors that helped me get to that point. So now I don't even pick up the phone for less than $1,000 or even $5,000, sometimes even $10,000. If I know that I can't make $5,000 by picking up that phone and spending a few minutes, why do I do it? I do it out of kindness, sure, because I care about people, but it takes away from my time when I can be absolutely crushing it with a higher return of investment for my time. So think about how you want to be and where you want to be, and let's set you a goal. Let's work with you. we're happy to work with you. And that's what we do all day long. We've done it with thousands of people, and we've helped people succeed in a big way and build those mini empires. So the first step is think about your goal. What's your next step? Is it $500 an hour? Is it $1,000 per hour? Is it $5,000? Is it $10,000? Is it $100,000 per hour? Think about where your goal needs to be, no matter what age you are. I don't care if you're as old as I am, and I'm not really that old. I still can run and jump with the best of them. But you know what? Think about that no matter where you are in life. Let's get you where you need to be. It's time to start right now. Okay, as we finish up today, the 3 equations that every business owner absolutely must know are, first of all, the cash flow that you're receiving, the money you're getting on a regular basis per year, to the total investment that you put in to acquire that cash flow. Number 2 is the cash on cash, which is the most effective way of looking at how to get your cash return on investment. And that's the total cash flow divided by the cash that you outlaid to get that investment back. And number 3 is the cash flow to the time that you're putting in. This is essential, of course, because we want to make sure that we allocate the right resources of time to get the maximum amount of cash flow back in the shortest period of time. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Let's watch the next video.